Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I normally don't use my tripod. Normally I'm kind of more of a handheld guy, but here we are, HLE Racing with a tripod. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Hoyce with HLE Racing. I've been drifting for a couple years. That's my V6 Mustang drift car, and that's my kind of time attack build I got going on. If you're here, it's probably because you read the thumbnail and I'm excited for you. You're going to your first drift event, or at least you're thinking about it. And I'm here to help. At least I'm going to try. I remember when I first went to my first drift event, there was a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. I didn't really have any friends that could kind of guide me through everything. So really all I had was kind of YouTube and pretty much anything else that I could find on social media. So I'm hoping to kind of give you all the information I wish I had when I was first getting ready to go to my first event. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, well please forgive me. I got a little bit of a notepad here, or pieces of paper, but yeah, I just don't want to forget anything and I want this video to be good. So first and foremost, I want to get into the before the event. A lot of this stuff is going to be happening before you even register for an event. And what I'm talking about is just finding one. If you've never been to a drift event before, you've never done this in real life, there's a good chance that you don't even know where to find these events. Where is your local track? How does one even register for an event like this? So honestly, for me, I would say the easiest way is to just kind of find what your local track is. I mean, you can even go on Google Maps and just Google racetrack near me. Find the nearest one and see if that track has an Instagram or a Facebook page or a YouTube, some sort of social media where you can find out what events they've got going on at that track. Even if they don't have any upcoming events, you can look at the past events, find out who these organizers are or the different companies hosting these events, and then you can kind of track their socials down to find new events and all the things that you can really find out, I guess, about an upcoming event. All right, so a big part of deciding which event you're going to end up going to is taking a look at their rules and regulations and their requirements. Every organizer is different, every track is different, so it's really not a good idea to assume that just because some guy that you've seen has gone to an event and they've required certain things doesn't necessarily mean that your event that you're going to is going to be the same. And you do not want to get to a track and have them turn you away because of something dumb that you just didn't bother to read. Examples of that would kind of be what kind of helmet do they allow. Some places allow you to use a motorcycle helmet inside of the car. Some places only allow full face. They don't allow a half head, even if it's a motorsport helmet and not a motorcycle helmet. Some places allow people to have ride-alongs in a car that doesn't have a cage. Some places you need to have a cage. Some places you can only tandem with cars that have a cage versus no cage. I suppose that's irrelevant because this is your first event. But a lot of event organizers require a fire extinguisher to be installed in the car, and different places have different requirements for where they need that fire extinguisher to be in terms of how accessible it has to be, how big it has to be. Some places are checking if it's expired or not, all this kind of stuff. Let me see, some places say that you need to run no coolant and you can only run water so that if it spills on the track it's easier to clean up. Like I said, some places allow ride-alongs. Some events are centered around beginners. I mean, if you can find so I live in Central Florida, and around here we have Orlando Speed World. Orlando Speed World runs Learners Days, I think 2 or 3 times a year, and there are events that are specifically focused around beginners and first-timers learning how to drive, and it kind of facilitating that environment. So if you can find something similar to that in your area, I mean, you're winning. Last thing really in this is a lot of places require you to tie your battery down. A lot of factory cars come with factory tie downs, but not every car does, and if you don't have one, you got to find a way to secure that battery. Yeah, I think at this point you're ready to register for an event. If you like all the rules that they have and it feels like you can follow them and your car is up to spec, go for it. Register for that thing. And let's see. Yeah, I guess we'll move on to the next thing. Alrighty, so now it's time to move on to the next step, actually prepping for the event. So a lot of times I would say you want to register for an event at furthest like a month out, because you don't really want to commit yourself to something that you're not sure if you're going to be able to make. So I'd say at furthest a month. At closest, I would say a week. I don't think you should be registering for an event 3 or 4 days beforehand, because, I mean, you don't know if your car is ready. You don't know. I mean, you might, but for your very first event, I wouldn't recommend it. So, like I said, the very first thing, like I said, check your car. That's going to be the very first step. Make sure that that thing is ready to go to a drift event. It's your first time, so yeah, you don't really know what you're looking for, but I'd say the bare necessities. Make sure the car has oil, like for real, check it. Does the car, is it topped off on coolant? You know what I mean? Just driving it around the street is not going to be as abusive as drifting is. Even learning how to drift, your car is going to get a lot hotter, even just sitting in those lines, if you're able to hot lap and stuff like that. So, and like I mentioned earlier, some places may not even allow you to run coolant. So, you know what I mean? You may have to top off that water because water evaporates way quicker than coolant, or yeah, coolant doesn't evaporate. Anywho, last thing is, in terms of checking the car, do a little bit of a nut and bolt check. Put the car on jack stands, shake everything around, take it for a test drive. See if you have like a little bit of a local spot where you can kind of do a couple donuts if you know how to do that already. Maybe even just a little burnout. Check the drivetrain. Make sure that this car is not going to break on you the very first time you try to clutch kick it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, if the car feels good. Oh, the other thing, check your tow rig. If you're going to be towing, which I hope you are, because honestly, I mean, driving to the drift event is a little scary, especially for your first time, because if you break something, I'm assuming you're not as experienced as a mechanic to be able to go ahead and fix this stuff. So yeah, I suggest you tow. But yeah, at this point, like I said, check your tow rig, check your car, make sure everything is ready to go. Now I guess we're ready to go on to the next step. Alrighty guys, the next step is probably going to be the main reason I'm making this video, which is to load up your tow rig. And that, what I mean by that is just all the things that you're going to need for a drift event. So I've definitely worked on this list little by little over time as I've you know, learned what stuff I should and shouldn't take. So yeah, I mean, at very first thing that you need to make sure you have going to your drift event is your helmet. If you decide to use gloves, I do, because my hands get real sweaty. So I noticed my very first drift event that you know, I missed the shift knob and sometimes I slip off the wheel. So I need to drive with gloves. But yeah, do not forget your helmet. Do not forget your gloves. You will be a very sad boy and or girl. Next thing is a jack. Make sure you have a way of lifting up the cars. If all goes well, you should be switching tires at this event. So be prepared to do that. Oh, obviously the tires themselves. If this is your first drift event, right, you are likely not going to be doing that much drifting, to be honest. You're going to be a lot more spinning out, trying to initiate, not really maintaining drift, I don't think. Also, word to the wise, go for a smaller tire size versus a bigger tire size, all right? Even if you're going out there with a V8, if you are just learning how to drift, I would say it's better to have a loose car and then reel it in with more grip than it is to try and be fighting a car that is too gripped up. Yeah, just heed me out. Listen to me. The next thing is going to be a way to take off the wheels. You're going to need either an impact, some sort of electrical impact, or a tire iron, which is what I use, just old reliable. Another thing is your wheel lock or your wheel key. If you're using aftermarket wheels, you're going to need that wheel lock to be able to take those wheels on and put them back on, or take them off and put them back on. It's a little thing, and it's very easy to put in the jack and forget the wheel lock, so don't forget that. Next thing is jack stands. Bring a set of jack stands. Obviously, you hope that the car doesn't break for any reason, but if it does, you're going to feel a lot safer having that thing on jack stands than just a single jack holding it up while you're underneath it. So yeah, bring jack stands. I, to this point, still have never had to use them, but maybe one day I will. Yeah, another thing is a way to check your tire pressure and be able to add tire pressure. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys something. Alright, this is my Halo box. This thing is amazing. My mom got it for me a couple years ago for Christmas. I know they sell them on Amazon. I haven't looked in a long time, but I love this thing. So it is a way to, it tells you your tire pressure. It can inflate, right? It's got 2 USB ports on it, run 12 volts, so you can charge your phone or whatever else you need to charge. It's got it's a jump box as well. I have the attachment put away with the jumper cables, but it's a jump box, right? It's also a light in case you need to work on it at night, right? You can set this next to the vehicle and work on it. Got different modes, and yeah, comes in different colors and stuff. It sounds like I'm selling this thing, which I might as well be, but they're not involved at all. Halo, sponsor me. I love this. But yeah, this thing is amazing. I think it's like 200 and something bucks, but I love it. This has been invaluable to me, at least at the track. All right, guys, next on my list, and something that I'm honestly really excited to kind of bring to the drift community, at least if anyone else hasn't thought about this yet, but this is a way to cool down your tires. I picked this up at Home Depot, I think, it might have been Walmart, but you can get it at any one of those stores. And this is what you use to like put chemicals on your lawn and stuff. But this is, you just fill it with water, you pressurize it from the top by like doing like this, and then it has water in it. We're not going to spray water right now, but this sprays water. Oh, I guess we are going to spray water. And I use this to spray down my tires when I come back from doing a couple laps, and this helps immensely in tire conservation. If you're trying to go to your first event with low horsepower and one of these babies, you might only need one set of tires. So yeah, a way to cool down your tires is key for tire conservation. He's the best. Alrighty, next up would be your toolbox. This one's pretty self-explanatory. You don't have to bring the whole full-size box, but if you can get yourself some sort of like compact box that kind of just has a 1/4-inch ratchet set, or ratchet and socket set, 3/8 drive ratchet and socket set. If you have a 1/2-inch socket set with like a breaker bar, just in case for your bigger stuff, but really just a 3/8 drive set, a 1/2-inch set, maybe a set of screwdrivers, some hammers. Hammers and mallets will come into play. Maybe not in your first event, hopefully, but once you start bashing into people's doors and tapping walls, sledgehammer is going to be your best friend for fixing the car at the track. But yeah, bring a toolbox. What else? Cool down tires. Okay, let's get into kind of creature comforts, I guess. The next thing I would say that you should think about bringing is some sort of tent or canopy to be able to cover wherever you're going to be hanging out when you're not driving the car. Or to even just cover the car so that the sun isn't heating up the car while you're not driving it. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, heat is one of the biggest, like, things I deal with at the track. So, yeah, if you can cool down where you're at and the car, it is going to be very good. Also, if you're pitting on concrete, that can keep the concrete cool where you're going to bring in the car just to be able to work on it. You don't want to lay down on hot ground. So, trust me, a tent or a canopy goes a long way. All right, guys, I think I'm going to speed through these last ones because I think I've been out here yapping. Yeah, after a tent or a canopy, a chair and a table. The chair and table really is just for you to be able to like sit down and relax in between doing runs. Even if you don't bring food or drinks or anything, which I'll get into, it's still nice to be able to have kind of something to talk with people over, if they come to talk to you while you're at your pit and stuff like that. What else? Yeah, and of course, just somewhere to sit. It's very useful. Guys, bring a cooler with drinks and food. Oh my God. The amount of times we've gone to a track day and we're running late for some reason, and we get there and we're just like, oh, we'll eat at the track, and they don't have any sort of food truck or anything like that. And it's like a long line to get into the track, so it's not worth it to leave and have to deal with that line on the way back. So I'm telling you, a couple of sandwiches and some drinks that you can just throw in a cooler the night before or even that morning, and to be able to have stuff during the day is very, very, very useful. Last thing, honestly, one thing that I just didn't think for a while is a GoPro or something to film yourself with. You're going to learn very quickly, especially if you don't have friends going with you, that no one is going to be really recording you, especially if you're a beginner. So if you want footage of yourself, whether to just see it or to be able to learn from it, you're going to have to record it yourself. So that means either bringing someone and giving them a camera and being like, hey, your job is to film me, or get a GoPro, get a couple of mounts and stuff like that so that you can mount it to the car and be responsible for recording yourself. But yeah, guys, back to handheld. But yeah, guys, other than that, I mean, that's going to be pretty much it. The only other thing I would say is pro tip, gas up the tow rig and the race car at the same time. If you've got your race car on the trailer, it's very easy to just pull up to the gas station, fill up the tow rig, pull up a little bit, fill up the race car. If you're not bringing supplementary fuel for the race car to the track, it's not likely that you're going to run out of fuel, especially if you start with a full tank in the race car. I learned that extra weight in the back is not bad for drifting because it helps kind of give you some sway. Just fill your tank. But yeah, guys, I really, really sincerely hope that this video helped you. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Give the video a like, maybe comment down below. I don't know, if you want, maybe. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm excited for you guys to go drifting. Let me know how it goes, all right? Okay, thanks again. Bye.